Good morning and warm welcome to you all. I am Ms. Jyoti Karunke, your host for today. We continue with our Sadhguru Sangh Meet 105th virtual webinar. Our topic will be understanding and implementing principles of sustainability. It shall be taken by Mr. G.S. Baveja sir. He shall be covering genesis and importance of sustainability, principles of 3Ps, sustainable developments in the real world is a myth or truth, cradle to grave impact on sustainability. And last will be question and answer session. Let's quickly go through the agenda. Virtual inauguration by Dr. Sundar Kataria, invoking the blessing of deity, chanting of Gayatri Mantra, introduction of speaker, presentation by Mr. G.S. Baveja, question and answer session, and last will be the closing session. A brief introduction about Dr. Sundar Kataria. Sadhguru Sangh conceived and led by Dr. Sundar Kataria, driven with a mission to elevate the quality, safety, and environmental awareness levels of industry. Sadhguru Sangh is a series of educative, informative events aiming to illuminate professionals on possible solutions to current issues of industry and economy. He is a chairman and managing director at International Certification Services Private Limited. He is doctorate in business management and mechanical engineer. Rajasthan Atomic Power Project, India's first nuclear power plant, RAPP at Rawat Bhata, Kota, built by Indian engineers. He has worked as nuclear scientist for 11 years and successfully completed and commissioned the plant. Engineers India Limited, first batch of engineers to develop Bombay High Offshore Oil and Gas Fields, Mega Offshore Complex Platform, trunk and submarine pipelines, underwater inspection and indigenization oil and gas equipment, etc. DNV, he has worked for 17 years at various capacity for the certification of fixed offshore installation, submarine pipelines, onshore projects and personal qualification. ICS, he is a founder of India's first certification conformance assessment body established in the year 1999. Provider of total quality solution. Certification of management system ISO, inspection, testing and training qualification of personnel. He has received a Lifetime Achievement Award for the contribution for the cohesion technologies from NES International by NIGIS under NES USA. Social worker, protection of life, asset, environmental and safety. Now, I request Dr. Sundar Kataria to virtually inaugurate the session.
शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः.
Please join us for the recitation of the Gayatri Mantra. brief introduction about our keynote speaker, Mr. G.S. Baveja. He is a freelance consultant and auditor, as well as trainer, coach, and mentor. He is an engineering graduate. He has done MBA in safety management and construction technology. He is a qualified tutor from Asian School of Teachers, Bangkok. He is an effective communicator with excellent relationship management skills and strong analytical, leadership, decision making, problem solving, and organizational abilities. He is a dynamic professional with over 52 years of rich experience in engineering, project management, materials, energy conservation, sustainability, and team management. Please welcome Mr. G.S. Baveja, sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Can I have the screen sharing? Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Does not come on full screen. I think I will reshare it.
Sure, sir. No problem.
Seems to be some sudden glitch. Is it visible now?
Yes, sir. Please make it full screen, sir.
I'm trying.
Visible, sir. Clear.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yeah.
So, first of all, let me convey my sincere thanks to Dr. Kataria, who has created such a platform where people can come, people can talk, and there's a good exchange of various aspects in life. So thank you very much, Dr. Kataria. It's a great platform, and I must thank ICS for inviting me for the topic which is very close to my heart, that is sustainability. And today I'm trying to give a brief overview about the understanding and implementing principles of sustainability. Frankly speaking, sustainability as it appears from the corporate perspective, from the individual's perspective, and from the societal perspective, there are different themes, there are different ways of looking at it, and there are different doctrines behind when people are applying it into their day-to-day life. But fact remains, despite all this odds, we have to carry forward the principles of sustainability, and that's why I'm talking about it. Frankly speaking, the kind of understanding I have with respect to sustainability, it is amazing to me because I have been thinking about it on various prospects, not only from corporate, but also from religious prospect, also from societal prospect, also from aboriginal prospect, and the current industrialization world's prospect. So taking this aspect, I thought I should limit my talk trying to cover the genesis and importance of sustainability, principles of 3 Ps, which are very commonly understood by everybody, elements of sustainability, what really we should include as part of the element, either for assessment or for review or whatever you call it. Then sustainable developments in a real world, is it a myth or is it a true? There are various types of aspects which are there where you start thinking, oh my God, are we talking of sustainable development the way the things are happening, or we are really looking at it from a serious note that yes, we need to have a world which is good for everyone to live, pollution free, and so on and so forth. And lastly, the cradle to grave impact on sustainability. Now, this cradle to grave impact on sustainability, I have not made any slides. I will talk extempore, and thereafter we can have the question answer sessions. Of course, I want to talk about circular economy. Time permitting, I will try to do it. So, genesis and importance of sustainability, if I say, we all agree that the world is really splendid, the world is really wonderful. Our God's creation is indeed spectacular, and the more we see it, the more we are amazed to see it. You can see people are enjoying. The more and more we realize, the more we are amazed and spellbound to look at the nature. Even if the nature and Mother Earth is indeed captivating at any time of the day, at any point of the day, or at any location, wherever we are. Though we have created the world the way we want to live in it, despite that construction, despite that concrete jungles, when there is a sort of, even I have taken a picture of lightning, it also makes mankind creation to also glitter. That means whatever we have created is also glittering, is also having its own advantages. But sometimes these glitters turn into Holocaust and disasters. And Turkey is the latest example of such kind of a disaster which has happened. Yet you will agree that our world is really spectacular, our earth is really spectacular. But the point is, every development a mankind is making has got its impact onto our behavior, onto our way of living, onto our lifestyle. I just took this picture at the Munich railway station, which is a terminus over there. And the scene is no different when we talk of CST or we talk of Howrah. They are also more or less looking the same way, maybe little less cleaner or similar kind of cleanly is there. If I talk about the development, there are many scientific developments have taken place. There are many developments of different kind. You call it professional, you call it IT, you call it industrialization, but everything has brought its perils along with that. And those perils come in the form of wars, terrorism, road rages, conflicts of interest. So if I talk of conflicts of interest or all these aspects, it could be at the individual level, it could be at the corporate level, it could be at the societal level, or sometimes it escalates to national level as well as international boundary levels, which we are seeing throughout the world. Somewhere or the other, something or the other is happening. The conflict of interest, really, what exactly it is? It is created due to diverse extremes from one to another, extremes from, haves and have-nots, extreme from rich and poor, extreme from developing and underdeveloped countries, extremes of industrialized and otherwise countries, rich in mineral resources versus least resource countries, and these conflicts caused major exchange and trade between haves and have-nots. So you can see it in life. These trades have started not today. Trades have started centuries ago, and they were talking with respect to what I have, what I do not have. What I do not have, can I buy it? Can I pick it up? Originally, it used to be a bartering, but later on it becomes a commerce and the industries to grow. It definitely had its positive impact towards mechanized commercialization and mechanized industrialization, a growth. But lured for development by seeing physical comforts in others' life, this has never become a ending situation, but this gives rise to moving above from the basic needs of roti, kapda, and makan, which we generally talk. And the needs for better education, needs for health services, need for hygiene, etc., have emerged over the centuries. and every aspect of development got linked to production, linked to increase in production, linked to increase in profitability, and so on and so forth. And this led from not only need, but it went to the greed. And when it led from need to greed, there are many other aspects which came onto the sustainability. Like you can see here, just a picture I picked up from Bangkok. Is this kind of situation sustainable? Definitely not. When we talk of sustainability, before we deliberate on sustainability, pollution, its control, let us ask a few questions to ourselves. What is sustainability? What is pollution? Am I getting affected? What is my contribution towards improving or otherwise? What needs to be done? If I ask all these questions to myself, and lastly, how can I make a difference as an individual? This is what we need to have a introspection, which will give us a lot of answer towards sustainability and so on and so forth. So also we must understand who is getting affected with all that industrialization which has taken place, all that what we are doing in the society. The effect is towards air, towards the breathe what we are having, towards the environment what is there. The water is getting dirtier and dirtier with every passing day. Towards Mother Earth, leaching is happening. The growth from the agri growth from the earth is coming lesser and lesser because of various aspects, in addition to the pollution and other things. And not only this, it is impacting all the living entities. How many species have literally become extinct over a period of few years recently? And if I take few centuries, probably it's a very large living entities which have disappeared from our Earth planet. So if I look at it, today there are many evidences: rising sea levels, changing rainfall patterns, warmer temperatures are changing climates, gradually melting glaciers causing the sea levels to rise. Both higher temperatures as well as the additional water from melted glaciers are leading to higher sea levels because heat makes water expand much more compared to the ice. So not that it is not known, but today we are all looking at it towards the greenhouse gas impact which is happening. And greenhouse gas impact is definitely not only impacting us, but also it is impacting all flora, fauna, and whatnot and whatnot. So all the living beings on the earth are getting affected. Just to give a little glimpse, what are the green gases? The green gases generally comprise, which add to the warming potential: carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, perfluorocarbons, hydrofluorocarbons, and sulfur hexafluorides. If you take the impact of the global warming, they are very, very high. And scientists have thought, why not we take carbon dioxide equal to 1 as a 1 ton of carbon dioxide emitted into atmosphere, the kind of impact what gives to the global warming. Similarly, the potential of other gases have also been assessed, and you can see the table over here. But what does it really mean to us? It really means to us that the life of GHG in the atmosphere, if you see here, carbon dioxide may live for 10,000 years, methane may live for 12 years. So the kind of potential and the reference towards living into the atmosphere till it gets its, I should say, change in the complexion or change in the, due to atmospheric reasons, change in its composition, that definitely it gives us a different reference to all of us. I don't know. Hello. Hello. Am I audible?
Sir. Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Hello. Yes, sir. We can hear
Yeah.
you. You can continue. Sir.
No, I am not able to see my screen.
Okay, okay.
Sorry. So just to give a little more insight, what are the kind of sources of pollution? Carbon dioxide, generally burning of fossil fuels, methane, production of plastic, biomasses which are there, nitrous oxide comes from refineries, propellant for aerosol packaging, etc. And sulfur hexafluoride is a insulation electric transformers which is being heavily used. So taking all this into account, there had been various thoughts, and then at one point of time there was a clean develop mechanism which was created among the various international bodies, and there was a thought that we should go more for renewable energy, we should go more for waste heat recovery, we should go more for reduction of the waste by waste management, we should go more for better improved quality of water, we should have more and more cleaner way of transportation. So all this has already started, but the impact is slow, it is time taking. All projects which are renewable in terms of renewable energy are definitely having a long impact, but it takes a long gestation period also. Other than that, there are UN findings which shows unequal warming of climate system. Atmospheric concentration of CO2 has gone up from 280 ppm pre-industrial to close to 400 ppm in the current decade, we can say. GHG emissions have gone up by 70% between 70 to 2020. Global mean temperature has risen 0.75 degree from 1906 to 2020. And 1995 to 2006 had been 12 warmest years since 1850. Sea level rise by 1.8 millimeter per year has been observed, has been noted from 1961 to 2020. I mean, these are all facts. These have been established. These have been propounded. These have been, time and again being talked in the various scientific fora, and they are being discussed in a big way. So projections for future climate change across all scenarios average warming 0.2 degrees centigrade per decade. And this is where the challenge comes, that how do we try to arrest it? And that's why we talk about principles of 3Ps. Really, when we talk of principle of 3Ps, before that, I would like to talk about the coexistential harmony. Why I'm talking about coexistential harmony? Because right from the earliest literature down to recent times, they are focused on essential cosmic harmony, interrelatedness and interdependence of all planets and all beings. There is a divine unity in the phenomenal diversity. Diversities are there, but still there is a unity. There is a continuity in the process of evolution in the 4 stages of natural order. That means material order, respiratory order, animal order, and knowledge order. So mankind comes into the category of knowledge order. Every unit in the nature is coherent from within and correlated to cosmic order from without. So there is a clear-cut internal and external cosmic order harmony. That is how the coexistence happens to be there. And as per our Vedas, all existing living and non-living objects are self-controlled, inherently balanced by the law of nature. If I talk example of an atom, you have got neutron, positron, electron, they are balancing within an atom. You talk of a material, it is balanced because of equal valency. You talk of earth, it is balanced because of a distance from sun and moving around. So this is all a reference of living and non-living objects. They are self-controlled, they are balanced by the law of nature. Taking the same cue, if I talk of any plant or set of equipments, I also come to the same kind of decision that here also similar law of nature and design criterion directly or indirectly gets followed up. This is always a consideration while basic design of plants are done. Individual equipments are so chosen to perform best under the coexistential harmony. I'm using this particular philosophy because time and again it has been observed that if there is no coexistential harmony from one unit to another, from one plant to another, the whole system in a production cycle will not happen. So that's why the same set of philosophy comes over there. So what exactly it is means when we talk of the plant, when we talk of equipments, it is to have the interdependencies, it should have replaceability, it should have ease of operations, and for no major impact to the system while changeover is taking place, maybe from normal to standby and so on and so forth. Now, this coexistential harmony which is there, I am deriving from the philosophy of the natural coexistential harmony and the interdependencies to the plants. And when we talk of diversified equipment with diverse parameters to have interdependability, it is supposed to give a consistent intended service. If there is any kind of a disharmony, if there is any kind of a problem at one place, the other equipment, either downstream or upstream, will have its impact. So coexistential harmony, if I talk in the context of business, there are traditional understanding about business. First and foremost is money, the gain, the profit, the return of investment. It is paramount in everybody's mind. People engaged is the immediate next care to be taken. Those who are engaged in my plant, I should take care of them. I should give them good salary. I should take care of their, needs. So that becomes your part of the human resource. And then in today's context, we talk of retention of skill. Pay a little more salary so that people don't go away and skills are retained. When we talk of environment, the traditional way is always to look at the workplace, to keep the ambience over there good, to have a immediate around the plant and facilities to be in a good condition. That means take care of the immediate neighborhood. The corporate efforts were also directed to create harmony among these three parameters and other components of business requirement, which is like other stakeholders like shareholders, bankers, investors, and so on and so forth. But when we talk of today's context, when we talk of extrapolating the philosophy of plants to planet and human or all living beings, we need to understand that the 3Ps order gets changed. So first and foremost is planet. We have to take care of planet while we are making profit. We have to take care of people, surrounding environment, and the resources which we are consuming from the society to be given back to the society in some way or the other while we are taking care of the profit. So order gets slightly changed. So that's why there are impositions towards pollution control. There are impositions towards taking care of the environment right from the point the emissions are taking place from your industry. Then you take care of the neighborhood, you take care of the all aspects which are affected by you. And that's how there was emergence of corporate social responsibility. And now it has taken a good shape. It has taken a shape in a very structured manner. And today, most of the corporates, previous year's profit of certain percentage is being invested for corporate social responsibility. And of course, while doing so, we also need to look at our business, our production, our plant operations. So there is a slight shift in thought as far as current way of sustainability and current way of talking with respect to, coexistential harmony is concerned. But when we talk of the industry, the current realities are slightly different. In any industry, we all know activities are done by men who are engaged to perform this. Man and machine work in tandem with each other. And while doing so, there is a need to take care of both men in the form of employees at different hierarchical levels and machines to aid in accelerated pace of work. Probably the machine can work 24 by 7 number of years together, whereas men need a pause after 8 hours or 10 hours of shift working if it is a round the clock working type, So with technology and modernization, there are certain expectations from these employees, whereas machines are to work infinitely for its life cycle to production. But with technology and modernization, people have to change, people have to improve, people have to look forward towards imbibing new technologies. Generally felt by industry professionals and technocrats that statutory regulatory bodies or statutory regulations are stumbling block for a smooth operation. Probably all those who are from industry, they will also equivocally say the same thing. Statutory and regulatory authorities are taken as burden by operating groups for any industry. But what is their role? Their role is to help us out to streamline our system, and emerging trend for industries and corporates are to recognize employee welfare, benefit administration, compliance management as part of the strategic management so that there is a loss prevention model which can be adopted to measure and report not only financial performance but other compliances too has become the order of the day when we are talking of the annual report submission, and many of the aspects are being today reported, whereas olden days there was no such thing. We are talking of energy, we are talking of water consumption, we are talking of health and safety. All these are to be reported, which maybe 22 decades or 3 decades back were not really so in that form, except for the financial compliances. Increased public awareness among employees as well as the neighborhood has also got a lot of new trends. And the best example I can say here is there are many plants which got closed because the neighborhood was not satisfied the way the plant was working. Enhances international exposure to business and the outcry. The more big business you are doing, the more exposure of the business is there in international references. And similarly, the more outcry will be there from the financial institutions and from the other aspects which are funding for your businesses, funding for your projects. Increase governmental and judicial interventions for various matters. So you all know that there is nothing new in this, and it is happening every passing day. Deep pocket liability is due to any non-compliance. Two distinct examples comes to my mind. One is the Coca-Cola bottling plant which opened in Kerala, and within 4 to 5 years time it got closed. You can imagine what kind of impact it might have caused to the company. Recently, about 5-6 years back, Vedanta's plant at Tuticorin got closed because of the outcry and non-compliance. So the deep pocket liabilities are due for any non-compliance. Environmental and other risk assessments are being sought by financial institutions, both in India as well as the international, who are funding for the projects, who are funding for the companies. When the awareness is going up, obviously activism from pressure groups is also increasing. To institutionalize system and greening the supply chain management, including procurement, has become the order of the day. So these are all emerging trends which I'm talking. And stringency in industry-related legislations, production-based environmental discharges, emission limits, all these have come into being. Area-specific industry standards on the environmental standards are also being talked about. Various ministries under their reference of the industries which are there with them. Specific industry standards on occupational engagement and wage parity is also being discussed. And today, people in many companies are talking of wage parity, not only in India, but wage parity throughout the world. There are many IT companies which I am privy to. I understand that they are looking for wage parity. If I am working on a certain type of work, irrespective of my geographical situation, I should have the same wages. Proactive compliance-driven tools. Today, there are many ways in which companies are proactively or voluntarily doing industry agreements, giving their charters on environmental responsibility. They are making disclosures. They are publishing corporate sustainability reports. They are joining many such open platforms to showcase what good they are doing. So these are all emerging trends, and international comparisons for mode and style of benefits are also there with respect to both MNCs and all that. What is our law structuring in India? Very simple. Law structuring is done in India by the Act of Parliament. Sometimes it is international agreement, and through which the Act of Parliament is taking place, especially in environmental matters. I have just taken a reference. So central government, Ministry of Environment and Forest, they will create policy planning, and state governments or state departments, they will look at the state policy implementation of the plannings which are there. Then Central Control Board will look at it, and similarly State Pollution Control Board will ensure the compliance to happen. Now, this is the structure, and in this structure, why I talked about it, because 4 years back, when our Honorable Prime Minister joined at the Paris Convention of Climate Change, it was very clearly understood that we have to have a cap of emissions at the level where we are. So how to implement it? Immediately after coming back, he formed a committee, and committee started looking at it, and today every company is part of it and following it. So when we talk of sustainable development, it is not one-sided story of profit. It is not one-sided story of only generation of sustainable business results, but it is also linked with people, corporate social responsibility. That means what I am taking from the society, how do I give back to society? Then in terms of planet, we are talking of environmental protection, we are talking of conservation, and what do we do with respect to all these three P's is the reference point which comes over there. Many of the new types of patterns have come, like Responsible Care is one of the organizations. They give a codes of management practices, which many companies are following it and trying to have a credit or display onto those sort of things. So they have got certain verticals, and each of these verticals are looking at how responsible care and individual industries taking place with respect to employee health and safety, process safety, pollution prevention, emergency responses, distribution, which we talk of, nowadays, logistic, then product stewardship, how the product till end will be serving to the people, not having an impact. Then of course, security is also a reason for that. So taking all these aspects, the new Genie has started. I'm using the word Genie with purpose, which is called corporate sustainability. So when we talk of corporate sustainability, in real sense, it's a journey towards sustainable development. And where again, we refer to three P's and keep those into perspective. Now, if I talk of corporate sustainability, some of these figures are very interesting. Average lifespan of any corporate entity is half that of a human being. If I take human beings' life average about 60 or 70 years, obviously, even if I take 50 years, the corporate entity life, many cases, it is much lower. 2/3 of 1970 Fortune 500 companies exited from the list by 1990. So in 20 years, there had been a topsy-turvy. 51 of top 100 economic entities in the world are corporates or companies. That means, again, this gives a indirect indications of haves and have-nots. And then business risks are dynamic. They are changing with every passing day. Rich and poor divide is widening in one way or the other. This word I'm talking rich and poor, not only from the financial point of view, I'm talking from the point of view of haves and have-nots. Then, of course, CSR and triple bottom line approach is bound to be there. So this is how we should look forward towards moving the sustainable businesses. Olden days, the profit was a focus. and company exits only for short-term shareholder profits. Company existed only for short-term shareholder profits. Then the era came when people started more towards philanthropy. Passive donations to charities when requested was another era. Then came to community affairs, strategic giving linked to business interest, including CRM. So community affairs started. Then we went to corporate community investment. That means more partnership, strategic partnership to be initiated by the companies with the localities, with the local stakeholders and those whose resources we are consuming. But today we are talking, if we are to do a sustainable business, we should integrate the CSR policies into the business functions, into the goals and strategies. Then only there's a possibility of a good survival. If I talk of 21st century drivers, you have seen there is a disruptive innovation. Gone are the days when there used to be even floppies. Today, floppies are not there, pen drives are there. Today, pen drives are not there. It has moved to the cloud computing and whatnot and whatnot. Global change is taking place in terms of pollution, in terms of consumption, in terms of industrialization. More and more industrialization, obviously, more and more impact onto the pollution and resource consumption is going to be there. And once again, I'm using the same word, whatever mankind has developed, whatever the developments are there, every development has got its associated perils. Poverty and inequity is the order of the day. Population growth is also happening world over. Urbanization is the order of the day. Trade liberalization is also taking place. At the same time, civic societies are grooming more and more intellect, more and more knowledgeable. And that's where there is a disarray of the drivers which are there. So what should be the 21st century sustainable model for various drivers? In my opinion, I read it somewhere and I picked up this slide. There are certain external matters, there are certain internal matters, there are references of today, there are references for tomorrow. If I take references of today, we are talking of eco-efficiency, we are talking of energy efficiency, we are talking of cost and risk reduction, we are talking of footprint reduction of the carbon, etc., etc. And when we talk of similar reference to the outside, there is a need from customers, there is a need for our own image or reputation of the company. Then there is a stakeholder engagement is required and sustainability reportings are required. These are external factors which are there. The internal factors which going to be tomorrow is definitely creative destruction. You may be wondering why I'm using this word creative destruction. Definitely creative destructions are happening. More and more dependence on the system, automation is giving inroads to many new technologies. At the same time, we have to forget our old practices, old doctrines, old theories. Clean technologies are taking more importance in every industry. So that's why innovation and repositioning becomes a matter of reference. Today, most of the companies are looking at it. How can I reposition myself? How can I reposition as one of the responsible corporates? And if I talk of external factors, one has to look at new markets. One has to look at unmet needs of the growing customer or growing pattern or growing lifestyle in the society. So the growth path and trajectory has to be well planned in such a way that we are able to go towards the new market, we are able to go towards the unmet needs. So taking this aspect into account, it becomes very clear what are our future drivers towards sustainable business. A clear picture of main economic, environmental, and social impacts is definitely sought to be there. Identification of risk and opportunities is a need of the day. Identification of general management improvements is also required. Identification of opportunities for cost reduction. People are looking at it and people have to look at that. Most importantly, prioritization of actions. Short-term and long-term actions are required. And today, many of the countries and many of the corporates are looking at 30 years from now, 20 years from now, prospective plans, 5 years from now, 7 years from now, and so on and so forth. And of course, short-term, definitely year on year, the short-term goals are made. So prioritization of actions long-term is from the prospective planning point of view. And of course, short-term to mitigate the immediate needs is from that perspective. So positive effects on employees recruitment and retention. How do we create an impact onto the recruitments or new generation which is coming? How do we retain them as a resource with us, as a tacit, knowledge people are maintained and retained within us? Then reputation enhancement and brand enhancement is the order of the day, and source of competitive advantage will always be there. So we have to look at the sustainability and progressive trends in light of whatever I have talked. And I am not saying that any new development is always foolish or always bad, but every new development has got certain positive aspects. There may be some flip side to that. So flip side also to be understood properly. So when we talk of sustainability, we need to look the sustainability, the way it is being implemented, what kind of reviews we should do. So verification of sustainability, IMS documents related to site management system, integrated management, so IMS is integrated management system. Then facilities inspection, what kind of facilities are there? Are we able to make it happen in the way it is intended, or they are just being flogged, and so on and so forth. Interaction with the plant personnel at the facility. How they are feeling about the job, how they are feeling about the certain aspects of sustainability, what are their own feelings to improve the system from the sustainability perspective. Identifying potential risk situations in the facility and dialogue with the concerned person. So it should not be a top-down philosophy. It should be top-down and bottom-up philosophy, so that the right kind of fit can be created for the sustainability. And if I talk of elements of sustainability for business corporates, these are the 12 elements which generally are being taught. Leadership, what kind of leadership is there? How much involved they are into? Are they purely looking at business only, or they are serious about the rest of the 2 P's as well? Compliance management. What is the corporate philosophy of compliance management? What is the way the compliance is being done, and what are the results being achieved? Is it a hogwash, or is it genuinely being done? I'm using certain harsh words like hogwash because we have seen those things happening in some of the industries. Objectives, targets, and performance, whether they are being developed, maintained, and reviewed or not. Competence and training. Do people have the right kind of competence to look into the various aspects of sustainability, and the right kind of training inputs to them? Process safety and management of change, whether they are being taken as part of the elements of sustainability or not. Then incident investigation, if there is any incident of a spillage or of polluting water or any kind of changes which are happening, if the investigation is done properly, one will reach to the root cause. And when we are reaching to the root cause, it is not just a root cause, it should reach to the system improvement. If system improvement cannot be identified, that means the incident investigation is not reaching to the right level to have a future continual improvement. And then, of course, assessment and continual improvement should be starting from the target, and performance review should look at that. Then supplier and contractor management, invariably we have seen when the jobs are being offloaded or when contractors are being engaged, many of these slip shots happens over there. Are we taking them as partner to our business, or they are taken as servant to our business. So there's a difference between the kind of approach which will be there. So suppliers and contractors management also needs to be looked at from the sustainability perspective. Social sustainability and stakeholder engagement, obviously, it also has to have a room. There has to be a regular interaction with the other stakeholders, and their engagement is also to be kept on a continued basis, on a reciprocating basis, and there should be a good interaction on a regular basis. Then resource use management. Today we are talking of resource use management because we are talking of ultimately the kind of reference for circular economy. If I can reduce my resource use right now, obviously my output, which is in terms of pollution, will also be reducing. Then occupational health, people, those who are engaged, how they are being taken into from their occupational health point of view, and similarly health, safety, environment, performance within the company and the related areas. Or so whenever a sustainability for business is to be looked into, these are the elements generally which should be reviewed at. And different companies have got certain different metrics for giving the scores, and they try to identify within 100%. Like for example, if I take compliance, some company has given 10.9% as a elemental weightage to that, whereas certain other aspects are given lesser weightage. So depending upon the type of business 1 and 2, this kind of the weightage are to be assigned, and those weightages are to be reviewed at a regular basis so as to understand over a period of time how we are progressing and what is my continual improvement model. Now let us talk about sustainable developments in real world. Is it a myth or a truth? People are talking of carbon neutrality. What is the carbon neutrality? How can we achieve it by 2040? This is what is our mission. And if that is the mission for our country, obviously our, India has formally declared its commitment to reduce its emissions intensity by 45% by 2030. So long-term goal of reaching net zero emissions by 2070 is the aspect of what we are talking about. So that's why these three definitions are important. What is carbon neutrality? Why is it so critical? What are the steps we can take to achieve it? So carbon neutrality is a state that aims to achieve net zero carbon emission from any business. This entails a harmonious balance between, once again, we are talking of harmony and coexistential balance between the quantity of carbon dioxide released into atmosphere with an equivalent amount removed or offset by carbon by measures that lower or eliminate carbon from atmosphere. It could be sequestration, it could be greening, it could be creating more of green energy, so that the carbon emissions which are there are being offsetted by the other way and the business can continue. So that is called carbon. Then carbon neutrality can be achieved broadly by, what should we do? Through the use of renewable energy resources, an increase in energy efficiency, and implementation of carbon offset programs like reforestation, afforestation, carbon capture, storage, etc., etc. So carbon neutrality versus net zero, while often used synonymously, are actually two terms. One is a person, a business, a product, a structure, a city, or anything else can be considered as carbon neutral. Can I consider myself as carbon neutral? May or may not be, because I have to reach to that level, I have to scale up to that level to do certain actions in my end so that I as a person becomes carbon neutral. Same is with the business, same is with the product. So net zero means, though, goes one step beyond and refers to the control of emission of all greenhouse gases emitted and the amount removed from the atmosphere. So not only greenhouse gas emission is to be reduced, but also we have to remove it from the atmosphere, and how best we can do it. That is another aspect when we talk of the net zero part of the carbon neutrality. And we have many such targets in the past. And as I mentioned, the strong target which has happened recently, which I saw in one of the plants of power plants, there are 7-8 units over there. And out of those 7-8 units, I saw in one unit, they were putting a flue gas desulfurization unit. And this flue gas desulfurization unit, for that particular plant, one individual plant was costing about 600 crores. And they have 9 such plants. So I asked them, you are spending such a huge amount, what benefit you will have? Sir, there is a cap of emission not to go beyond the current level. And we want to put 2 more units over there, unit 10 and 11. And if we want to put 2 more units, that emission we have to reduce. And that's why we are doing this exercise. And that will give us an advantage of putting up 2 new units in the same place. So every corporate has to look at it. How do we do it? How do we take care of it? How we really respect the Paris Agreement and the various conference of parties which are happened on 26th meeting, which has happened on climate change on 2022. And that's where we have to look at carbon neutrality. And governments have to encourage, and organizations have to pledge their commitment to the cause. So I will not spend much time on this slide, but I'm just trying to give you certain flavor. There are several other initiatives which are underway, ranging from hybrid to electrical vehicles, a clean air and climate change action programs, which are being discussed at the ministry level. And from ministry level, it is percolating to every industry. Then smart city emissions, which again are a new thoughts which are there. And national biofuel policy, which we all are privy to that. Already we are talking of biofuel injection into the petroleum products. Now the percentage is going to be increased, and more biofuel utility will be there. So like that, there are many efforts which are underway. And of course, there are certain popular measures to reduce emission, improve energy efficiency, switching to renewable energy sources, implementing sustainable practices in industries such as transport and agriculture industry, especially where more of emissions are there. Popular measures to achieve carbon neutrality, carbon offsetting. We talked about reforestation, we talked about carbon capture, we talked about renewable energy projects. So directly or indirectly, it is coming to the reference, how do we, as an individual, as a corporate, as an industry, look towards each of these aspects in a manner that it makes us as a country to be carbon neutral. Then I will not spend much time on this because there are many such things which are more important for me to see, for me to say and share. So it's important to appreciate that achieving carbon neutrality is a continuous process and not a one-time event. Corporates and organizations as well as individuals need to continuously monitor, reduce their emissions, strive to offset and remove any remaining emissions to maintain carbon neutral status. So it's not a one-time exercise. It is a continual effort which is to be there, and sustainability is required with respect to reaching to the carbon neutrality. So what should be the way forward? It is only when entire global, industrial, technical, financial, and social ecosystem wherein they work together towards the cause of combating climate change. Who are to work? Individuals, SMSCs, SMEs, MSMEs, and other entrepreneurs, large corporates, conglomerates, and MNCs. Agencies like NGOs, Green Brigades, and such organizations also have to, follow the two. The local administration, state and central government administrations are also to act favorably. Other well-meaning international organizations and think tanks, so that we can realistically aim to achieve ambitious goal and protect our Mother Earth from the further anguish or wreath. So this is all about carbon neutrality. This is all about various way forwards which are there. And that is what we have to look at. If I am talking of an industry, they should start first counting the business carbon calculator, and from there they should look at how they can try to reduce it. When we talk of corporate social responsibility, again, I picked up some slides from here and there from the internet. Nevertheless, already I talked about the corporate social responsibility, and we can see the real reference which is coming here is a good pictorial expression between haves and have-nots. And what we are trying to do, that CSR means that trying to give away what are the resources we have consumed, converted into money, to be shared with the others who have lost those resources. That is precisely it is meaning. So when we talk of corporate social responsibility, it has to be long-term, it has to be ethical, it has to be with sincerity, it should not be just a eyewash. Responsibility should be taken by the corporates, and due resources are also to be managed and planned when the corporate social responsibility is to be undertaken. And corporate social responsibility from the UN point of view, CSR has become a very important work in the line of sustainable development goals. So we are talking of creating goals for CSR, creating CSR projects, identifying the end results of that, whether it is really giving the right kind of intended result or not, or it is just a money which is being doled out for no reason. So this is what more and more emphasis is coming towards that. And in broad manner, CSR organizations are guided by the board of governance, business DNA, CSR and sustainability missions of the company, and in compliance with the provisions of Section 135 of Companies Act. So Companies Act is also looking towards compliance for CSR, and there are various methods by which it has to be reported, and right way of reporting is as per the rule 2014 of CSR. There are schedules which are given, what kind of references are to be taken. They are also listed here. Now, when we talk of applicability of CSR, the provisions of CSR applies to every company, its holding companies, its subsidiary companies, as well as foreign companies. So how they have given a reference with respect to financial year, net worth more than 500 crores, turnover more than 1,000 crores, and net profit more than 5 crores. If this kind of financial parameters are coming into the bracket, then each one of the companies have to reply and take care of the requirement of the CSR as well as cleaner environment. So I need not refer this particular statement, because this is statement also I picked up from the internet, which is readily available in these slides, and you can have a look at that. And then one example I had taken from the Starbucks case, how they are looking at it, various aspects with respect to the CSR, which could be of some ready reference for you. So CSR is an immense term that is used to explain the efforts of a company in order to improve society in any other way. CSR improves the public image by publicizing the efforts towards better society and increase their chance of becoming favorable in the eyes of consumers. This is what the direct or indirect benefits are there. CSR increases media coverage. As media visibility throws a positive light on the organization, CSR enhances companies' brand value by building a socially strong relationship with the customer. CSR helps companies to stand out from the competition when companies are involved in any kind of a community reference. There are some regulations which are readily available. I will not dwell onto these slides because these are all for your ready reference, and what board of directors should do, what the individual should do, and so on and so forth. So my question to all of us is, what can you do for sustainability? That question hovers in my mind, and that question should also hover into all the people's mind who are listening to my talk. And just in a nascent way, if I say, we should not only think about sustainability or corporate sustainability only in terms of limited, but we should have the young generation or new era wherein we should develop student forums, youngsters to spread message about the climate change and the sustainability, discuss and learn more and more about it, not only discuss and learn more and more about it, but also translate it into some action, into some forum, into some dissipation of information. That's what I'm doing here. Reduce consumptions of any natural resources, go for renewable resources to the extent possible. To the extent possible, reuse and recycle. So I will add one more word, to the extent possible, reduce, reuse and recycle. Do not be prey to consumerism. One thing very unfortunate, we all are prey to the consumerism, and let us not be prey to consumerism. Unless it is a must, please do not buy anything which is not required for you. Rethink before you spend for any item or article for its utility, long life, and do not be impulsive buyer. Many of us have seen these traits within us. Can we be away from the impulsive buying? Probably that will helps us in conserving money as well as conserving undue resource expenditure. So buy articles with less consumption of resources that are brand which announce carbon emission consumed for the products. Of course, it is yet to take to that level, but nevertheless, for electrical items, there is a BEE standard which talks about the energy labels, and accordingly, energy consumption labels, and accordingly, people can use those. Waste reduction. How do we reduce the waste? Can we be responsible user as an individual? Can we be responsible user as a family? Can we be responsible user in every aspect? Wherever we have impact, wherever we can influence, can we talk about being responsible user? Every new development is at a cost of humanity. Developments to be green and clean should be the order of the day as far as you and I are concerned, as far as this forum is concerned, as far as the corporates are concerned. So put it in another way, we all can do a lot and we can save our planet. So you can do a lot, I can do a lot, we all can do a lot to save our planet. And this is what I wanted to share. So thank you very much for your valuable time joining for this discussion and patient hearing. I would like to invite questions if any you have. I'll come out of the sharing, and I'm sure that these slides will be available with the people through the Sadhguru Sangh. They will share the slides with us. Thank you very much, friends.
Thank you, sir. It was a great presentation. Now I will request everyone to put their question in chat box, or they can unmute themselves so they can ask directly, sir. So we will conduct a Q&A session. We'll wait for 5 minutes, sir. So if we are getting any questions from our delegates, so we can continue with that. Sundar sir has raised their hand. Please unmute yourself, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Boys, very good morning and good afternoon, rather. And your presentation has been very current topic, I should say, because world over they are concerned about sustainability and taking care of our mother planet. So your presentation was very holistic. Almost it was covering every aspect. And right from environment to the safety to many things, what is the industrial practices, what are the legal requirement, everything was covered. Even you could correlate with our management system, ISO management system, risk and opportunity, everything. And finally, you also gave about 12 points, which were very crucial for anybody to take care of these one, so that you are putting your philanthropic and your CSR policy towards the protection of mother and sustainability. And sustainability will also help you to continue your business by improving it. My question was only because we have been always hammering, focusing, and always referring to industries. But if you see, the agro is also playing a lot of havoc when it comes to sustainability. Can you please put little light on the agro sector, how one can help?
Thank you very much, Dr. Kataria. It's a very good question, because agro sector still is not being taken as a sector unless it becomes in an organized way. And wherever there is an organized way, they also look at only for the production. But now with the so-called invent of talking of organic production and organic vegetables, organic fruits, obviously the intent of use of fertilizer will be reduced, or the use of fertilizer only for the sake of production will also be getting a new balance. And if it is getting a new balance, and if we are to keep our Mother Earth, rivers, and the outlet to the rivers or outfall to the rivers cleaner and better, obviously the impact has also to come onto the agri sector. Now, agri sector, if I talk with reference to the energy consumption, there are two types of energy consumptions which are there. One is in terms of diesel. Either the agro equipments are running or the pumps are running, but more and more renewable energy or solar based these equipments are being brought into the market, and many people are going for it. And I'm sure that will make a dramatic change as far as pollution coming from the diesel engine and diesel pumps are concerned, or diesel driven tractors are concerned. Other day I was seeing one of the programs where they were talking of battery operated tractor. They were also talking of small width tractor which can go to any of these small lanes, need not be a big tractor. So what I mean to say, inventors and innovators are definitely looking at these aspects, how to capture this kind of a market. Second, how to look into the positive side of environment improvement in the agriculture sector. I hope I have clarified my point, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So there is one question asked by Vinay Nair, sir. Can you explain about the CSR fund utilization in India?
Yeah. Actually, you have very aptly asked this question, because there are many ways in which the corporates are utilizing the CSR fund. Some of the corporates, they have created a separate NGO, and through that NGO, they are spending the CSR funds, again, for the purpose of CSR activities, which are pre-designed or pre-defined. Problem, what happens, suppose you start a project, and if that project tenancy is about 3 years, by the time it comes to self-sustaining position, or 5 years. So till that time, you have to dole out the money. And sometimes the company's profit may or may not be there to sustain for 5 years as far as CSR is concerned. So they do not want this project or these kind of projects to get jeopardy. So what they do, they create a separate, I should say, trust. And through that trust, the CSR fund is being utilized in India. CSR funds, as far as corporates are concerned, 2.5% of the previous financial year's profit is supposed to be contributed towards CSR. And most of the corporates, they are having their own clear agenda and program within their corporates, and they look at it and they try to invest, and accordingly this CSR fund utilization from corporate to corporate is being done. I hope it clarifies, Mr. Nair. Anybody
Thank-
else?
Yeah.
Hello,
So,
Stephen Chakravarti here. Say good morning. Thank you for this briefing us and this as a curtain raiser for the CSR program. Actually, during my tenure in Bharat Petroleum, I was glad that you have made us to know most about the CSR project and the CSR audits, everything. I'm thankful to you. And regarding the subject, what you tell is an eye opener. Actually, it's individuals should take responsibility towards CSR upgradation. What I feel the innovation is one of the must that is a need of the day. Here I find the refrigerator. We have the system of using the gas. That is in the gas is being the tetrafluoroethane. The tetrafluoroethane is being replaced by a small chips. That is the one innovation I came to know. So by way of doing this, the emission of carbon dioxide is reduced. So it is a one way of their doing it. And most of the houses where I'm staying with my daughter here, they're all solar. Most of the houses, they have a solar thing.
Solar heaters.
Yeah,
Solar
solar
water
heaters. Yeah, and the top roof is covered with that. And my daughter gets credit also. Whatever the power consumption, they get credit, and they get it passed on to that Pacific Gas Agency. So this is a way they are operating, and the awareness, and each one should take care, and the institution take care. As a whole, we can achieve this object of CSR. It's not an individual, total responsibility. I really thank you. And COVID time, somehow that that ozone layer was during the COVID time, but we don't expect COVID time all the time. But COVID time, that ozone layer, that's a healthy information about the ozone layer. Thank you, Dr. Bhavendra Sabha. Thank you for the briefing. I am really enlightened and inspired by your lecture. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen, for your kind words. After a long time, I am hearing you. It is indeed a pleasure to hear from you. And what you said is right. Today, practically, lot of, I should say, societies and individual houses, they are putting up the solar heaters or putting up the solar system so that they are not deficit of power when there is a power shortage or other way around. Of course, there are certain limitations from the electricity boards with respect to, giving credit onto, yes, if you are producing and you are producing more than consumption, then they are not giving any credit as of now. But day is not far when that credit will also start coming. I hope that the government agencies as well as the end users all pool together their resources to make this place a great place to live.
Thank you, sir.
thank you, Stephen, sir, for the participating. Thank you, sir. Sir, there is a one question asked by Vikas Ahire, sir. In your view, what are the factors in our country which resist the spread of awareness of the sustainability?
Yeah, Vikas ji, your question is very pertinent. And frankly speaking, as I mentioned, we should also do our role in propagating this message. And as I mentioned, these slides will also be available to you. You can also use in the same manner, and please spread it to your friends, colleagues, sons and daughters, and all the people, so that more and more people are aware of this subject and they try to get cognizance of this subject. Unfortunately, still it is being thought that it is just a sort of university curriculum, or it is only for the corporates. But reaching to the all levels of society and all people in the society, every one of us have to do our role play so that the widespread takes place. Thoughts are, the more and more we spread, the more and more thoughts will emerge within the people, and that will create a good shake-up for, which I should say, futuristic shake-up for improvement into the planet and improvement towards environment.
Thank you, sir.
Jyoti, are you hearing me? Yeah, am I
Yes, sir,
audible?
we can hear you, sir.
I think Paveja Sahib has done fantastic justice to this topic, and we should all be very thankful to him for the seriousness with which he took this subject,
Yes,
Otherwise,
sir.
Kataria Sahib is there, yeah. I mean,
Yes, sir, he is there.
because अभी उन्होंने वापस भी. So my only Kataria Sahib ने बहुत अच्छा, I think he put up a very valid, there is, I just rechecked date, it is about 11% agro sector. Agro sector is a worst contributor to carbon, emissions basically. Or उसमें the factors are basically land को तो खैर काट ही रहे हैं. Because agriculture, whenever you do agriculture, you cut down forests, to make land for agriculture. And then even the fertilizers emit a lot of greenhouse gases, use of fertilizer. But one thing, Bhavesh sahab, आपने सही बोला, technology, the same, I heard our Dr. Kakodkar once. He said the technology which has destroyed the environment, the same technology will protect it also,
Right.
The same kind, but not the same technology, but I mean, he was just referring to a generic thing. Agar technology ने destroy किया है, so technology will rescue it also in many ways. अभी government ने हाइड्रोजन का इनिशिएटिव ले लिया, देखिए ट्रेन्स के लिए, they will have trains running on hydrogen now actually, so which will be, so slowly things are coming. But agro sector को कोई touch इसलिए नहीं करते कि agro is sensitive, right now you can't really, but eventually I think, as you rightly said, we may find more battery operated tractors, we may find.
Already it has made the inroads,
Right.
If it is cost effective, people will definitely try to go for that.
Things are going on, but साथ में the worst thing that is happening is, that India is the worst sufferer in its forest cover. India has lost the maximum forest cover in the last 10-15 years, like, maybe right from maybe last 20 years or so. We have been losing forest cover, and just travel from here to Pune, you will be able to make out कि क्या हो रहा है, or from Bombay to Nashik, the entire cover, तो जितना हम टेक्नोलॉजी यूज कर रहे हैं अभी, जितना आप ISO 14001 करके, मैंने कटारिया साहब को एक बार बोला था कि साहब आप सबको मतलब वार्निंग दे रहे हैं ऑडिट्स के टाइम कि सस्टेनेबिलिटी करो, लेकिन एक टोल नाके के ऊपर जितना वेस्टेज हो रहा है आइडल इंजिन का फ्यूल का, वो एक झटके में, अगर इफ यू कैलकुलेट द टोल नाका वेस्टेज एंड कार्बन एमिशन देयर, I mean, everything gets negated in one jhatka, basically.
But these fast tags are really helping, At least
Yes.
my experience at Washi Toll Naka is definitely there. That fast tags are improving the overall way.
Kataria sir, you've been auditing you've been
there are many
auditing
things which are in the way.
abroad for last many days. Could sustainability ka, did you find something interesting there?
Yeah. I can share. Thank you, Professor Sab. It was nice. You again also focus on agro because there's a big concern. Even Delhi, Haryana, we get so much of pollution during burning of all this.
Parali,
Yeah, Parali. And my views, if you see, I've been traveling also abroad, and I have seen a lot of changes which are taking place in the airlines, especially when I was traveling from here to Norway. Then my bag was misplaced, and then they provided me with a bag, a small clothes and all this toothpaste and everything, toiletries. And you will surprise, the Emirates Airline, they provided me, which were my dress was made out of recyclable material. Whatever waste comes out, plastic waste, out of that they made it clothes. So that was very good thing. Even recently also I was traveling from Uganda to this one, and I found same place on board. They didn't use the plastic or polythene. They were using the cotton bag to put the dirty blankets. So there is shift. If you see the small things also, if our corporate can bring it in the airlines and in the industries, because industry, a lot of waste, we use the plastic containers and all these things. Instead of that, they can use the containers of the oil and other things. So they can so something new, technology, new things have to be developed. So that was I want to share. So there is a worldwide awareness is there,
Yes, correct.
and it has been increased. Even that day I was seeing our Narendra Modi ji. He also used a jacket which are from the recyclable material.
Recycled plastic, yeah.
Yeah.
So this makes a lot
So
of
the
difference.
leaders
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
giving a message.
Just to share with you, HPCL has gone in a big way to use plastic, convert into cloth. They have embarked in one major project where used plastic will be converted into cloth. That means the fiber, and from fiber they'll make a thread, and from thread it will be converted into cloth. So there are many such, maybe it is a beginning, but people have started thinking about it.
Yeah, that's correct. You are right, sir. Even if you see Reliance also, I think they have some plants where the used PET bottles are converted into fibers, and they use for the pillows and blankets.
सब ये तो वापस we are coming back to our primitive origin. वहाँ पे गांव में रस्सी भी जो है ना बनाते थे हम हमारे गांव में, तो वो पराली क्या जो वो निकलता है उसका बार्क निकलता है,
रस्सी बनता था, राइट?
उससे रस्सी बनता था। देखिए रस्सी, उससे कुएं से पानी खींचते थे उसी रस्सी से। और किसी भी आइलैंड पे आप चले जाइए, आई वाज इन लक्षद्वीप सम टाइम बैक, लक्षद्वीप के किसी भी आइलैंड पे इफ यू लुक एट द नेटिव पीपल और गो टू कोंकण आल्सो, एवरीथिंग इज मेड फ्रॉम नेचुरल थिंग्स, एवरीथिंग इज बायोडिग्रेडेबल। कार्बन तो है ही, कार्बन बस उसी में रहता है ये से। आई थिंक अनफॉर्चुनेटली द बिगेस्ट कंट्रीब्यूटर टू ग्रीन हाउस इज द ये डंग होता है ना, काउ डंग एंड एनिमल डंग एंड ऑल। लॉट ऑफ मीथेन एंड ग्रीन हाउस गैसेस आर जनरेटेड बिकॉज ऑफ दैट ऑल्सो। फिर हमारा जो ये नॉर्मल फर्टिलाइजर है केमिकल, इसमें से भी नाइट्रोजन के गैसेस निकलते हैं विच आर अगेन NOx, ऑल द काइंड ऑफ NOx's, दे आर अगेन लाइक इनके स्लाइड में था भवेश साहब की नाइट्रोजन एमिशंस ऑफ नाइट्रोजन, दे आर आल्सो ग्रीन हाउस गैसेस। और साहब आपने जो बताया ना छोटे छोटे जो इनिशिएटिव ले रहे हैं, जो कटारिया साहब ने बताया अभी इंसिडेंटली इन दैट there was an audit of this very big company going on, and it concluded just yesterday. At the end of the audit, you know what memento they have given us? People will be really thrilled to note that the memento जो उन्होंने दिया है, it's a bottle made of मिट्टी की बनी, जो कुम्हार की मिट्टी होती है उसकी बनी एक ब्रांडेड बॉटल है कि ये मिट्टी की बॉटल से पानी पियो अब आप, मतलब so that awareness is coming slowly it is coming actually. It's good to note that. Anyway, I think are there any more questions? Jyoti देखिए जरा chat box में.
Yes, sir.
Done with.
No, sir, there are no more questions.
No more questions.
No, sir.
So Baveja sahab, I think personally I should thank you for doing full justice. I think Sumit ji, why is he silent today? Sumit ji, please pop in if you are around. दिख तो रहे हैं आप.
Yeah, I'm there, sir. I'm there. Let me compliment you, sir. Amazing session. Was a treat to the ear. Lot of insights, sir, and very hard say session tha. So got a lot to learn, sir. Thank you so much. It's honestly, sustainability costs a lot of money. So a lot of people, corporates, to at least have that kind of affordability, sir. Problem is niche people don't have that kind of money, or they don't think that the sustainability comes at a cost. ये खाली paper पे ही रह गया sir. मतलब people, at least small and medium sectors, shy away from any kind of investment towards sustainability.
Hey, Dr. Sundar, thank you very much. Dr. Sumit, thank you very much for your words. But I must say, I went to one of the industries and they were doing some work on the, MS plate, 10 mm thick MS plate. Some cutting was doing, and there were cut pieces which are odd in shape. So if you take a circles or say disc then leftover piece will be just odd shape,
Correct.
And I found that for some stand, they were cutting a separate sheet of 2 inch by 2 inch. I said, yaar, ye tum kya kar rahe ho? You are not utilizing that waste, but you are adding new expenditure to this.
Correct.
See,
correct.
unfortunately, that kind of eye is not there with many people. They just do the work blindly. And that's why we need to create the awareness. When I
Correct.
told them, even the manager and the owner of the company, they came running. Sir, आप बात तो बिल्कुल ठीक कर रहे हो, लेकिन इसको करें कैसे? अरे बड़ा सिंपल है यार, जब तुम रिंग काट रहे हो साथ में एक चौकटा भी काट दो, क्या प्रॉब्लम?
Correct. Correct.
So what I mean to say that there are many such things which go in routine.
Correct.
And
Correct.
we don't look at it from the reduction point of view. That's why I use the word reduction, source reduction.
बिल्कुल.
If the resource we want to reduce, we can definitely reduce.
बिल्कुल.
I am not saying cut corners. I am saying use it
Judiciously. Perfect, sir. Perfect.
judiciously.
Sir, ऐसा है ना कि we have been used to working with old age drawing. Sir, आज भी जो हमारे underground storage tanks हैं जो retail में use किए जाते हैं,
हाँ जी, हाँ जी,
उसकी
हाँ
अगर
जी.
आप कटिंग शेड्यूल देखेंगे सर, वो जमाने से चलता आ रहा है कि डिश काटा और बाकी के 4 कोने पड़े ही हैं.
वही मैं बोल रहा हूँ. मतलब ये अभी क्या है, उसका जो नीचे बेस है, जो
Correct.
आपने ब्रैकेट बनाना है, that bracket could be of the
बिल्कुल.
leftover plate, easily
बिल्कुल.
it can be used.
करेक्ट, ब्रैकेट बन सकता है, साइड में जो लिफ्टिंग लग्स हैं उसके गसेट्स
बहुत
हैं,
कुछ
ये
बन
सारे
सकता
उससे
है.
बन
So,
सकता
I
है.
am referring to the same point.
परफेक्ट सर, परफेक्ट.
सर से कंजम्पशन का ना, कंजम्पशन में सबसे the worst culprits are these foreign companies. आप देखिए
चेंज हो रहा है सर. पहले कैसा था, आई टेल यू सर हाउ एंड व्हाई दिस इज कम. पहले क्या था सर, स्ट्रक्चरल स्टील टिपिकली पर टन में पैसा मिलता था. तो जितना काट दिया तो बाकी का टन मिला, उसको बिल कर दिया, तो बड़ा आसान था वेस्टेज करना. आज क्या है, कंसल्टेंट्स पर टन की जगह लमसम मतलब बीओटी बेसिस पे चलते हैं. एंड बीओटी आई थिंक चेंज द वे पीपल लुक्ड एट थिंग्स. पहले canopy is my expertise sir. पहले canopies used to be on 60 or 80 or even 100 kg per square meter. Today it has fallen to 16 or 18 kgs. In fact, now oil companies come with regulations ki minimum you should have 25 or 30 kgs, क्योंकि you can design cold rolled form. You people are designing cold rolled form with 16 kgs and 19 kgs. तो भाई सारे ऑयल कंपनीज ने बोला नहीं नहीं नहीं, मिनिमम कम से कम 30 तो रखो कि एटलीस्ट it should have longevity in lifespan at least. So
any medium scale industry, I strongly feel if we talk of sustainability to them, they will ask one question to you, and that question is, what is in it for me? Maja kai. If I can give them that answer, maja kai, everything is
taken.
So when we talk of explaining, when we talk of expanding the ideas, the idea of sustainability should emerge from what is in it for him, so that he starts adopting it.
Superb outlook.
Action has to be from that perspective.
आज बोल दिया ना सर, what is in it. अभी आज ही न्यूज़पेपर देखिए, फर्स्ट पेज पे again erratic monsoon predicted this year also.
Sir, summers we are already touching. Bombay was 36 in the afternoon yesterday.
36 इधर
36 yesterday.
36 सर. और वहाँ कभी भी कहीं भी बारिश हो रही है. आज आप एयर से जा रहे हैं ना, 12 महीने टर्बुलेंस हो रही है. 12 महीने, not on a particular monsoon day or 3 monsoon months. Go any day and you'll have to fasten your seat belt for half the journey. All this is basically, कि और सबसे बड़ी बात है, हम कितना डाउन प्ले कर रहे हैं उत्तराखंड में जो हो रहा है उसको, कितना डाउन प्ले कर रहे हैं देखिए उसको. Can you imagine the kind of downplaying being done there in those kind of events? These are catastrophic events. वो जो movies आती थी ना आज से 10 साल बाद, और जो आ रही हैं एपोकैलिप्स की, वो मूवीज में जो दिखाया वो सच हो रहा है बेसिकली. और अभी भी आंख नहीं खुल रही है तो ना खुले, फिर देन अल्टीमेटली फेस द कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस. और क्या, अर्थ तो क्या, अर्थ इज अ वेरी स्मॉल एंटिटी इन द होल यूनिवर्स. लेट द अर्थ डिस्ट्रॉय, इट डजंट मेक एनी डिफरेंस टू द यूनिवर्स और गॉड. ये तो एक छोटा सा स्पेक है अर्थ तो, ऑनेस्टली. save it or destroy it. Anyway, nice, very nice discussion, sir. Sumit
Thank
ji.
you so much, sir. Baveja
Jyoti
sir,
ji,
thank you so much.
Jyoti ji.
It's an honor having you
Thank
here,
you.
sir.
Thank you
I
very
thank you
much. Thank you
personally,
very
sir.
much.
Thank you for taking the time out. I'll
Thank you
hand it
very
over
much.
to Jyoti to formally
I
thank
was
you.
just telling Jyoti, why not we request everyone to come on video mode so that we
Correct.
can have a
We can
nice
have
picture.
a small picture. Correct.
Yes,
So I
yes,
request
sir.
Not
everybody
only
to please.
Jyoti is smiling, everybody should smile.
Yeah,
Sure,
we can do
And-
that, sir. If everybody can put on your camera for a brief second, we'll take a group picture.
Yeah. Please, everybody, please.
If you all can just switch on your camera, come to camera mode for a brief second, we'll take a good group picture. So all of us can,
Requesting you all, please, cameras. So.
everyone's camera shy, sir, aaj ke time pe. Thank you.
Doesn't matter.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah.
Over
you.
to you,
Thank you.
Jyoti. Please, you can formally thank sir and take the
Yes,
session.
sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Baveja sir, once again.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. बहुत अच्छे से presentation था. It was a great presentation, and I hope everybody got their question and answer. Then it was a great informative session, sir, and one of the last part Q&A session. So I hope बहुत अच्छे से आपने बहुत explain किया है, sir. So I hope. Thank you, Sumit sir. Thank you, Sundar sir, Sudesh sir. Thank you so much, Stephen sir. आपने attend किया, participate किया Q&A में. So thank you so much. With your permission, Baveja sir, can I share my screen, sir?
Sure. You can.
Yeah.
I will just come out of it.
Yeah.
I come out of it.
Yes, sir. I'm just give me a second. Oh, yes. So our next session is on 18th February 2023, which will be awareness in health insurance, which will be taken by Dr. Rohini Sakpal ma'am. She will be covering introduction of health insurance, what are the benefits of health insurance, and awareness about fraudulent activity in health insurance. And last will be the closing question and answer session. ICS is pleased to provide you all its research and development, integrated management system, QMS, EMS, and OSHAs, excellence in education management, ISO made easy in Gujarati, Marathi, Telugu, and Hindi. Feedback form. So please register on www.sadgunsang.org and go in your login and please give us a feedback. On the behalf of the Sadgun Sang team, I would like to express my gratitude to all the esteemed delegates of the webinar for their presence and contribution to make the webinar a great success. So officially, now we are closing the session. Thank you all. Thank you so much for the sharing your knowledge to us. Thank you, Baveja sir. Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much once again. Thanks a lot.